ABC24 This Week starts right now.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on ABC24 This Week. I am your host, Pepper Baker. You are here for the real stories behind the big stories, and we hope you'll continue to watch every Sunday at 9 a.m. or 10:35 p.m. All right, we have a new panel joining us at the table, as always, ABC24 political analyst Otis Sanford. We have former City Council Chairman and Shelby County Schools Board member Scott McCormick joining us for the first time, and second debut here is Communications and PR strategist Milton Howery. Thank you all so much for being here, of course.
Pleasure to be here.
I'm excited for this one. This one's going to be a great panel. All right, so let's get to today's topics, the agenda. We will discuss the City of Memphis delaying the search for a CEO to lead the Memphis Area Transit Authority, or MATA. Then we'll move on to the latest ruling in the Memphis Police Association's lawsuit with the city over rank structure. And then lastly, we'll end on a positive note. 901 Day is Monday, and we'll talk about how the celebration is shaping Memphis's culture. But of course, let's get back to the troubled transit system. Now, the city hired a consulting agency called TransPro on an 8-month contract to audit MATA's $60 million deficit. TransPro's CEO John Lewis has been serving as acting CEO of MATA since January. Now, the city says this search for a new CEO started with 6 finalists, but 3 withdrew, and that the candidate pool is just too narrow to move forward. So here's part of what the joint statement between the city and the city council said. MATA is undergoing an important transition. The current management contract with TransPro is set to expire this week, and MATA will initiate a new phase of oversight with the city council appointing a trustee. Now, due to both of these factors, we believe the people of Memphis and our transit system deserve a broader pool to ensure we find the right leader for this critical role at this pivotal moment. One of the remaining 3 finalists told us that she's disappointed her interview this week will no longer happen, and we also talked to bus riders who seemed less worried about the delay and more about getting the right person for the job to clean up the transit and its finances. Take a listen.
We need to find the right person for this job. We just can't put anybody in this position, because we need somebody that's strong, a leader that's going to lead MATA. We need some person that takes pride in what you do about the public.
We got a lot of things that's happening in safety. We need that questions answered on that. We got operators being attacked, and we have other things that happen. The last few people that came in been people that's been out of town, and it hasn't turned out right for us.
Now, one of the MATA CEO finalists, Lois Pittman, wrote in a statement, "Me and my opponent are seasoned transit executives with decades of experience. It's disappointing such a grueling interview process was wasted given the depth of expertise already on the table." All right, I'm going to open up to discussion now. Otis, do you buy the city's reasoning? Is the delay even necessary?
Well, I'm not sure. It could be, depending on who made these decisions about whittling down the applicants to the 3 finalists. And if the city leadership was not involved in that, they should have been. And we shouldn't have gotten to 3 finalists without the city. I'm talking about the mayor and city council members, or a designated person from the city council being involved in this, to make sure that the pool of candidates was big enough. So I think there are a lot of people to blame for this. It's just another kind of black eye for MATA. I do agree with the first soundbite there that you do need to get the right person for this job. This is critical at a time when MATA has not performed like it should. But there should have been more communication on the front end to make sure that the search was big enough, that we wouldn't have to have a stoppage right now. And now, who knows who's going to be applying for this.
And Scott, you're a former city council chairman, so to see that joint statement with the city council and the mayor, what does this say about the search process as far as future prospects, or the ones that are currently still in the running? I mean, is anybody going to want to step up to the plate?
Well, I totally agree with Otis and the gentleman who spoke. This is an important position, given the state of MATA right now. Public transportation is so important for the vitality of a city. I've been to other cities, Kansas City, for example. They have what's kind of like a trolley system, but they're not like our trolleys. They're modern cars, they're air conditioned, they run the whole line of downtown, and it's free. And it was a great opportunity for me to experience that. Memphis has always struggled with its public transportation, and we need to find somebody with the experience and the knowledge of Memphis and what Memphis needs in public transportation.
Yeah, that sets up the next question quite well. Milton, I mean, what do you think about the last gentleman saying a lot of the people in the past in leadership positions with MATA have been from out of town? I want to see somebody from Memphis. Is that important?
So many thoughts. There's so many things I could say, right? But first I want to say, through my day job working for the Downtown Memphis Commission, I do obviously interact with the City of Memphis and MATA. So I'm not speaking on behalf of them today or the DMC. But what I will say is, you want the best candidate for the job. Do we not want the best candidate, right? And I think the gentleman that spoke, I think the bus riders, I'm leaning into what are the bus riders saying? And they're okay with extending the search. That sounds like the best decision if I'm going based on the people that matter, because you can't operate transportation without the drivers, right? But I think you want the best candidate. So extend the pool, include 100%. You should include Memphians. You should make sure that that applicant pool is diverse and that there's an opportunity for Memphis to be involved in that and to apply, right? But I don't think you should block out, external applicants outside of the city of Memphis, because do we not want to also recruit people to Memphis? So it's not a negative for outsiders, but you'd also want to make sure that that is open to locals.
Right, and a lot of the times that MATA's been on the agenda or for whatever discussion, I've heard people say people making the decisions on MATA aren't even writing the transit system. They don't depend on the transit system. So, Otis, the importance of somebody to come in and actually understand the problems or how long the delays take or how often the buses come around, why is that pertinent here?
Well, it's very pertinent because you need somebody in that job who is an organizer, who understands transit. And that's why I guess I say it may not be all that critical to have somebody locally. We're not talking about maybe the school system where you really should understand the school system and the students who go there and the communities that they come from. You need to understand in this MATA job transit. Scott's point about how did they successfully do trolleys in Kansas City, that's a pertinent thing to deal with here, because we liked the trolleys when it was downtown Memphis, and now they're not there. So you really need somebody who can understand that. And so expand the pool, that's fine. I still think it should have been an expanded search on the front end with the city involved with MATA in making all of these decisions, so we don't have to restart right now.
And when we talk about the search, whatever the search becomes, we don't want it to be a Memphis-Shelby County school situation where we're waiting, 2 years for that. So Scott, how long do you think it will take, or what is the process?
Well, I can make the analogy is when I was at the school board, we searched for a superintendent, and you don't necessarily have to be from Memphis, but what you have to have is the mindset and the skills to understand Memphis on a really short time frame. And we need somebody, as Otis said, who understands transportation. And it's so vital for workers getting to their jobs. I remember when I live out in Cordova, and I remember when I first moved to Cordova back in 1989, restaurants struggled for labor because the bus system wasn't running out that far yet. The city got ahead of the bus system. And it was a real struggle for businesses out there, which shows you how vital mass transportation is for the business community.
And that's a point that Tammy Sawyer made when the new jail proposal in New Chicago was spoken about in front of the commissioners, was we don't even have a transit system to move all these employees or to depend for these employees to move out there. Last point I want to make here on the transit system, since we talked about trolleys and you know downtown very well, how much are these trolleys such a vital part of downtown, and the absence of them, how much has that impacted downtown business?
So there's a huge impact with the trolleys not being down for the moment they were gone, because they are back. Right now you have the trolley buses. They're They're out on wheels. And when I talk to the downtown restaurants and business stakeholders, they are so excited about having that amenity back. And it's not an amenity, it's a public service that is needed. So I don't want to call it amenity, but it is something that is 100% needed for the sustainability of the businesses that are downtown. And so that glimpse, that moment of time when we didn't have any of that transportation up and down Main Street, the restaurants, as I talked to them day in and day out in terms of how it affected them, they were drastically impacted. So, but I remain, from what I'm hearing and as we move into the future, I do have, through my role at the DMC, I often do talk to MATA, not about contracts, but about the communication, about how we communicate about what's going on downtown and that sort of thing in terms of transportation. So from what I've heard, I'm definitely excited about the future in terms of transportation for downtown.
Seems like patience will be key here.
Yes.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, on that note. When we come back, we're going to talk about how the Tennessee Supreme Court ruled on a decision between the Memphis Police Association and the city. We'll get into it when we come back.